Hi everyone, this is Brooke. I'm here with Siun and we're just going to do a sort of 30-minute interview, and I'm going to be interviewing Siun because she was one of my clients and she is doing amazing things in the world, and I really wanted everyone to see what she's achieving and what she's doing in the world because it's an amazing cause and it's really bringing people together, which is thrilling for me. I love it. So if this is the first time you're seeing either of us, just to do a little bit of an introduction, my name's Brooke. I'm a life coach and a counsellor, and I specialise in helping people navigate through any old or recently distressing events to better understand how to meet their needs and dreams without feeling guilty. But I also do regular counselling as well. And Siun, as part of the world's biggest eye contact experiment, Siun co-organised the event in Prague for the world's biggest eye contact experiment, which was held a few weeks ago, for which 1,200 people RSVP'd and hundreds of people attended, even though it was freezing cold outside in Prague. She is also the founder of HumanKInd Prague, which is a movement for promoting positivity and kindness between strangers. So thank you so much for joining me, Siun, this evening. And I really want to just start by asking you to tell us a little bit about the recent event and what is it, the world's biggest eye contact experiment?
Okay, well, it was started by a group in Australia called the Liberators International, and it happened in, I think, over 100 cities in 50 different countries around the world. So basically,
wow.
You turn up, you could stand or sit opposite a stranger for 1 or 2 minutes. It wasn't timed. It was left kind of organic so that people could sort of feel the connection between each other and I guess sort of recognize the humanity in each other and realize that we're all the same. We're all the same deep down, and really feel that they've sort of made an important connection and had a different experience.
Wow, that sounds amazing. I think I mentioned to you that I've done that once. I was at an event and the speaker got us to do it for a minute, and it was really moving. It was incredible. And you had hundreds of people turn up for this event, and did they all participate, or were you just allowed to watch? Like, how did it work?
Well, it was sort of left open, really. There were constantly people watching, and I noticed when because I was standing up and some of us were sitting down because there were a group of volunteers there. So the idea was that you sit there open, even if you stand there on your own or sit there on your own with nobody opposite you. The idea is that you're open to welcoming a stranger to come to you and share that experience. So some people who clicked that they were going to the event came and they told me, oh, I saw this and I got really excited. And other people were just like, oh, I was just passing by and I was so intrigued to see, is this a protest? Is it a peaceful protest? What's going on here?
Wow.
Yeah, so it was very relaxed, actually.
It sounds very peaceful, actually, like very, very calm. And I've seen some of the pictures because you've got some quite good press coverage as well, which I'll ask you about shortly. I've read a couple of the articles, and it just seemed like a really moving event. So, what made you want to get involved in this in the first place?
Well, I guess it was a personal thing, really. I always kind of tried, or well, I lived here for a year. I have lived here for a year now, and it's often really hard to move to a new country, let alone, I mean, a new city is hard, but a new country is pretty hard as well, and a country with a language that's foreign to me.
Yes.
And it can be so isolating, when you don't know anybody and you don't know what anyone's saying. And
so you don't speak the language either, just for
learning,
okay.
I'm learning, but Czech is insanely difficult to learn.
Yeah, it looks like a whole different like alphabet and everything. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it is tricky. Um, but yeah, and I just like I remember the first few months here were really hard because the general public, can seem so cold and standoffish, and it's cultural, but it's a hard thing to sort of deal with. When I guess I come from Ireland originally, lived in England for years, where people are very friendly and polite to each other, and to come here where people don't seem to want to talk to anybody else or look at anybody else, and I was determined to sort of to make a change somehow, even if it's, I don't know, on a really small scale, just to be like, hey, you can smile sometimes. It's okay. Life can be good. I know you've had a tough time, the history and everything, but
Yeah.
let's change this.
No, it's like when I moved down to London, and all of a sudden, coming from Liverpool, where everyone talks to you, and in London, like if you look at somebody on the tube, you're crazy. Like, why are you looking at me? And it's a cultural thing, and when you've lived there for a bit, you do exactly the same thing. But it must have been so daunting to move and have that whole culture shock and not speak the language and everything else. And yeah, so it sounds like you just really wanted to have a meaningful connection with a stranger, and to connect people better. I know I keep coming back to this word connection, but it sounds like that is the pivotal meaning of what you're doing and why you're doing it.
Absolutely. And it was partly that I wanted to see that there were like-minded people here. There were friendly people here, warm people here, and people who wanted to make connections. And that was the original reason. And when I decided to do the event, I honestly expected like 10 people to turn up. So you can imagine how blown away I was.
When 1,200 people RSVP'd.
Absolutely.
I remember you posting on Facebook, and you were like, oh my God, 800 people have RSVP'd for my event.
It went from like 30 one day, and then for like a week and a half, every day there were 100 more, 100 more, 100 more, 100 more. It just spread like wildfire.
And did you advertise? What did you do for that?
There was one Czech guy who wanted to organize the event, but I didn't know him or anything, but we just got in there before him, and set it up, and he got in touch with me, and he has like 5,000 friends on Facebook. So he said, I'm going to share the event, and then it just went from there. I think he was the main, the best networker. He just did it. It just took him 2 seconds, and then it just went crazy.
Yeah, but something that stood out for me there is that you said, I wanted to find the like-minded people, that actually you were sort of thinking, oh, maybe I'll find 10 people like me, and actually they were there, you just didn't see them before.
Absolutely, yeah. They were there, and I guess because I don't speak Czech, maybe if similar events are advertised and they totally go over my head, but it was so nice to get in touch with this guy, and then through him I got in touch with somebody else. So I've definitely made friends and had some really strong connections since having the event, and I feel a lot more at home here.
Yeah, because it makes a huge difference. And I know from talking to people in other cities in the UK and abroad, this feeling of being very isolated, of kind of, particularly if you're a little bit more spiritually minded, or you're in a different culture to what you're used to, there is this feeling of, I'm on my own and there isn't anybody else like me, and when I meet people, they're not my kind of people, and I just don't think, you end up in this cycle of, I don't think there is anybody like me. I'm not going to have any friends here. And I guess this is proof that actually you just have to find them, that there are always your people somewhere, you just have to find them.
Exactly. That's exactly it. And you do have to make an effort sometimes and reach out, because people are all the same. Everyone has the same kind of worries and insecurities, like, oh, shall I do this or maybe not? And I guess I've had opportunities in the past where I could have done things like this, but I just never thought I could, organize even a small event. And it's funny when you get past that, and it's like, there's people everywhere.
Yeah, I know that it's scary to put yourself out there, but sometimes just that small leap of you going, okay, even if like only 10 people come, I think that's something that always stuck with me that Gabrielle Bernstein used to talk about. She said when she first started speaking, she would give her all, even if there was only one person in the room. If there was only one person that turned up, she'd still do the same level of preparation. She'd still give her all, because it didn't matter if she just touched one person, if she just made one connection. You know, now she speaks to thousands and thousands of people, but you only need that one connection. You only need to know that you've touched one person, and that's brilliant in itself.
Yes, I totally agree.
So I think we've talked about this a little bit, but what made you want to get involved? Was it finding those people? Was it almost in a way kind of a selfish thing, or was it altruistic?
I think it was part for my own gain, part selfish and part curiosity. Well, that's selfish as well. It's from I guess I don't know if I would say altruistic, but I partly I wanted even just to get like, even if I reached one person who walked past and thought, what is going on here, and may never dream of having a connection with somebody like that, and is maybe not happy in their own lives or something, or looking for something different, you know, and they saw that, and if it made them think for a minute, oh my gosh, wow, that's a really different experience, and I didn't expect to see that today, and isn't that nice, and it's made me smile or whatever. You know, it was partly that, and also to meet people. It was also a personal challenge, like, wow, this is incredible what I've just done. I can't believe how it excelled fast, and you know, we took it in our stride, Lancelot and I. We just did it. We just did it, and kind of it made me think what you said earlier. Even if only one person turned up, like we didn't, like the more people who said they were coming. It's funny because we didn't. Oh, what are we gonna do? This is crazy. You know, it just felt the same as if 30 people said they were going to come. Like it didn't feel like it was ever going to be out of control or, you know, totally mobbed or anything.
I'd love to see that, like a mob of people desperate to stare into each other's eyes. But just as you were saying that, I was thinking, oh my God, that is it. It's so true that when you just put a little bit of willingness in, when you're in alignment with what you're supposed to be doing, the universe will meet you. And yes, I'm quite spiritually minded, and I'm on that path. But I love the way that you stepped up, and it. Well, I mean, I'm guessing, but for me, it would have completely exceeded my expectations in terms of the actual outcome. I mean, what did you get out of the event, you personally? Because I know I mentioned selfish reasons before, and I mentioned that, of course, because I'm a big advocate in selfishness in a positive way of clearing the taboo of selfishness. So not selfishness at the expense of other people, but filling up your own cup and developing yourself and loving yourself so that you can be a positive light in the world and sort of shine your light brightly. And it sounds like you got a huge amount out of the event personally.
Yeah, it was life changing. It was definitely life changing, and yeah, it was the actual event itself. Like from the moment I set up the event page and kind of thought, oh, maybe 10 people will come. Like everything about it, every time I thought about it, every time I had an idea about it, like everything was yes. It was just like a big yes sign. And normally I'm like, if things start going well, I'm like, oh no, I'm bored. I don't want to do that anymore because it scares me. You know, when things are going well, it's like, oh, what, I'm used to failing. What's going on here? And and then I just realized, like, this is the kind of thing that I need to do. That's why it's a big yes, because this is the right track. You know, maybe you won't spend your life setting up big public events, but human connection, all of that, like it made things a lot clearer for me, I think, in terms of what I want to spend my free time doing at the moment until I kind of figure out, you know, what it is I'd like to do for a living. but it's just like giving me this absolute trust in the future, in like this gave me such a positive feeling that I know I need to do more things like this, and it's going to lead me to other things. You know, because I just realized that you don't know how things are going to go. Like you don't know the amazing things that are going to happen in life. You know, and because this event went from like a tiny amount of people going, then to loads of people going, then to like the Czech equivalent of Time magazine writing an article about it, and then on the day, a news crew turned up, and we were on the evening news.
Oh, wow!
The news, they stayed there for most of the event. The reporter got involved, and it could have been like they put it on, and people would have thought maybe it was silly. They could have made it look like a silly thing, but actually they backed it up with us. They interviewed a psychologist who was saying that we are too much with technology these days, and it's great to want to keep up human connections and things like that. So it was like a really, oh my gosh, I'm still reeling from it. I'm still reeling from it because it was so amazing, so powerful.
That's incredible. And it just, when you were talking there, I'm just reminded of and I don't remember the guy who said it, and if you're listening to this and you know the guy, please email me. But the guy that said, if it's not hell yes, it's a hell no. And that real truth of just following your joy, and when you follow your joy, when you do what makes you happy, things will happen. You fall into alignment, and you have to trust that things will come together for you. And, you know, maybe there'll be lessons to be learned along the way, but I think this is such a good proof of that, when you follow your joy. Because when we worked together for a couple of months, and you know, I'd love for you to talk a little bit about that and your journey, and how you came to this point where you were like, I'm going to go for this, and I have to follow my joy, and I have to follow what makes me happy. And not everybody has to do that. Not everybody has the time to give up their job and do this full time. But you know, you were working at the same time. This is something you did in your spare time. You created this, and it's just, you know, the Siun that I see here is a completely different Siun to the Siun that I met a few months ago. Like you just have this light that wasn't there before. It was there, but it was hidden. It was hidden behind self-doubt. And as you said, you know, every time something started to go right, I almost sabotaged myself with like doubting thoughts, and why is this going right, or something's going to go wrong. And we are so prone to doing that, as particularly as women. I think more so than men. Men don't tend to have as much self-doubt, but we crucify ourselves, and we stop ourselves from really just trusting and allowing these sort of miraculous events to occur. Yeah. So yeah, tell us how you kind of reached this point where you decided to get involved.
Okay. Well, shall I start from how I got here?
Whatever you feel, whatever you'd like to share, in however much you'd like to share.
I guess it's sort of well, I moved over here because I was married to a Czech man, and we have a little boy, a toddler. And a couple of months after we moved here, we ended up parting ways, and I suddenly found myself on my own, really, in this foreign country as a single mother, and I kind of, yeah, it was a pretty full on experience, but I knew I didn't want to go back home. My son's extended family were here and everything, and I really wanted to make a go of living in a new country. I was kind of ready for an adventure, I guess, luckily. So I just thought, let's do this. And so I was teaching English for a while, and but I was kind of, I kind of had the idea of I'm not going to be able to do much here. You know, I don't speak the language. I'm a foreigner, and this, like, Prague is kind of known for xenophobia. Um, Unfortunately, that that is quite a common thing here, and foreigners aren't always welcome, and so I just sort of I found it hard to sort of believe that I could have the kind of future that I wanted, basically, because I thought I felt trapped here. Really, is the truth, and I guess for a while, a part of me kind of thought, okay, look, you're just going to be teaching for the next 20 years until your sons finish school, and that didn't sit well with me. But I didn't know how to overcome that. I didn't know how to overcome that feeling, and I was looking for things. I went to a conference called Alive in Berlin in May, and that kind of started the ball rolling. But I was still there was a ceiling there. It gave me a new kind of lease of life, and kind of gave me a few ideas for things that I'd like to do. But yet I was just like, that feels so far away from where I am now. Actually doing things feels so far away, and I totally believed like I have to be at a certain point in my life, and then I can start doing things like that. Like that was the thing that was there. It was like a comfortable thought that made me think, yeah, in a few years I'll start doing things. And then I came across your selfish identity course, and that was in the summer. I think it started in the summer.
Yeah, I think it was like July, maybe.
July, yeah. And I just loved the sound of it. It was amazing, and I think back then, because it feels like back then.
Yeah, another world, yes, another time.
When was it? That was like 3 months ago.
Yeah, it wasn't. Maybe it was July, August time, but yeah.
Yeah, gosh. Yeah. So I was like selfish. The word selfish in the title. I was like, oh, what if I turn into like this or that and the other? And it's funny because it was just when as I see it now, it was like the negative connotations of selfish. It just doesn't. That word seems so kind of benign or positive to me now. It's not a negative thing anymore.
Yeah.
And I just realized like through I guess week by week from working with you, like every week something big changed in my life. I was able to say no to somebody maybe that I found hard to say no to. I just felt more, I guess, more integrated. I'm not really sure how to how to explain that. I felt like more like me. It was kind of, I guess it was like doing the event. It was all like, yes, actually, this is right. This is what I need to do. I'm on the right track. Um, and and some of the exercises that you provided, like the practical ones are writing out the 24 questions.
Mm-hmm.
That was amazing, and that's something I still refer to now. And it's amazing how many things that I wrote down that I would like to see happening in my life. How much of that is happening?
Yeah. Just for the listeners, the 24 questions is questions that I ask. I basically got Siun to identify what her dream day would be and what her life would be like, with no holds barred. And it's really good, as Siun said, to just focus your mind a little bit on where you are now and sort of, what are you doing in your life today that's going to go towards this. And as you said, just the things started to happen, and without you even really trying, all of a sudden you were ticking off this stuff that was your dream life, but that was actually perfectly possible. You just hadn't taken the steps to get there.
Absolutely. And I think like overall it was just the sort of realization that my hopes and my passions, I guess my desires are worth working on. They're like I don't need to put them off anymore. This is important, and what I want to do with my life is important. I don't need to worry about what other people think, other people close to me, or even people who are not that close to me. I often worried about what a stranger in the street thought of me, and when I think back in it now, I just think, oh, Siun, you didn't need to feel like that.
Yeah.
And actually, I just feel so much happier now, so much
Mm.
more confident, and yeah, I feel like the sky's the limit. So
And you can see that as well, like, and that's the thing, when you step into who you are and really own your authenticity and own who you are, instead of trying to wear a mask or try to be somebody for somebody else, or you wear all these different masks, and particularly as a mother as well, you have somebody really dependent on you. At least if it's other adults, you can kind of go, well, they can look after themselves. Like your child, you are their mother, like you can't really take that mask off, but you still have to be you as well. And yeah, it just what really struck me when we were talking before was thinking that you had to be at a certain point before you could take these steps. And actually, you don't have to be at a certain point. You can start right where you are now. You can do something small and it can turn into something magnificent. And you can do something small and it can lead on to something else.
mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
So what sort of feedback did you get from the event? What did people tell you about their experiences?
Um, I mean, everybody was really touched. They seemed really touched by it, and asked, "Oh, why did you do this?" And I'm really curious, and it's such an unusual thing, and yeah, lots of people said they were extremely moved by it, and yeah, that was the general feedback from people, and one girl who came wrote an article in it's in Italian and then in English.
That's the one I saw actually, yeah, and I didn't realise it was it. I started reading it, I was like, oh, it's in Italian. Oh, I can read this. This is good practice. But yeah, I was like, wow, you got Italian, you got English, you got Czech, you got like all nationalities covered.
Yes, yeah, there were people from all over the world there.
Amazing.
Yeah, I would say most of the people were Czech, so which was awesome. Which was why I wanted to do it in the first place, to see if that need for connection is here, if that longing for connection is here with the Czech people, and it is.
Yeah, which I think it sounds like it gave you a different sense of the people in the culture, that these people that you thought initially were very cold and standoffish actually are just like you.
Mm-hmm, exactly. We are all the same. We feel the same things. We're afraid of the same things, and that was, yeah, that was really incredible. And some people cried, when we were doing when we were sharing a minute or two together. Lots of that happened quite a few times actually, and that's a and I was smiling when I said they cried, but because that's great. I believe it's a great thing that they were moved, and it touched them, and
Yeah.
it's great. They felt something real from it.
To be moved to tears, to be truly seen.
Yes.
I think so many people don't feel like they are seen anymore in the world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. That's
Mm.
true. And yeah, just technology is taking over. It's taking over. Even down to simple things like self checkouts in supermarkets. Or I know the Liberators have
Yeah,
recently like a selfie stick. Rather than asking someone, "Hey, can you take a picture of us?" and exchanging
that's
words,
so
like
true.
selfie stick just cuts that out completely. So like these little moments are being chipped away.
Mm. God, I never even thought about that, but it's so true. Like the self checkouts, and I know my nana always used to say, because I used to offer to go and get her. I used to say to her, you don't have to go to the supermarket. I can do an order for you. I can get it delivered. She was like, no, I like going to the supermarket. I go on a certain day, and I know the checkout lady, and we have a good chat when we go. That was like a trip out for her, and she loved that interaction. She was like 92, and I didn't even think about it, but I thought, oh, actually, when she said that, I was like, yeah, of course, like that's her connection with somebody, and she has a little chat with her checkout lady friend, and it's just like, yeah, these moments are being eroded, and we don't have that connection anymore.
And we're social creatures. We need it. We need, like, that's why. Um, I was thinking about it. Like, that's why, like, the cruel, the most harsh, I guess, um, punishments for crimes are execution or solitary confinement.
Yes.
You know, it's a torture. It's torture for people. And I remember myself. I was living in the UK in a city. I just lived there for 1 year, and with my son and my then partner, and he was studying, and I was on my own with my son, and it was really hard. It was on the outskirts of the city, and we went to a few groups, and nothing really happened. So I couldn't make friends there. I found it really hard to make friends, and I kind of thought I have to see people. I've
Yeah.
got to do something. So I like made myself go to the supermarket every day, even just to like make contact and say hi. That was enough, you know. And I kind of thought, you know, that kind of kept me going in a way, just knowing that there were other people out there.
Yeah, yeah, because it can be so isolating.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I just feel like you've literally catapulted yourself from sort of nothing, from having this idea when we were talking that, you know, you talked a lot about human connection being very important to you, but you had no idea what that translated into. And now all of a sudden you have this amazing event to go off the back of. And tell us a little bit about HumanKIND, because I only found this out when we were just talking before I press record. But this HumanKIND is a movement that you literally created in like a week, and now you've got a Facebook group and you've got loads of people. Like, tell us a little bit about that and how you came up with it and what's going on there.
Well, it was an idea I had as I saw that this event was getting so popular when it was reaching the sort of 800 mark. You know, I kind of thought before the actual event happens, I need to get a message across to all of these people who will see it on their Facebook feed, who have RSVP'd. Excuse me, and I want to set up something kind of similar to the Liberators International, who hosted this eye contact event, and they do other events in public. I wanted something that promotes positive human connection between strangers in public places, which is also the Liberators' aim as well. And also I wanted to be able to maybe do something kind of charitable, or I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure yet, because we're sort of still working on ideas and that. But it's going to be things that will be publicized, that will sort of, yeah, just promote positivity, I guess, in public, and kindness.
Amazing.
And I literally, like, it was the Sunday, the event happened on a Saturday, and the previous Sunday I was like, okay, I sat down on Sunday morning, I was like, in throwing this idea around, you know, what are you going to do it? You need to do it. Let's do it now, I would say to myself. And I kind of thought, I just literally, I opened a new page, and it was thesaurus, and I can't remember what I initially typed in, but humanity came up, and then I was like, oh, and then humankind, and I was like, I like that. And then I thought, let's capitalize the kind, and let's have HumanKIND Prague, and see how we go. So I added a few friends, because it's always good to just have a few people there.
Yes.
They didn't mind my friends; they were very nice about it. And then once and then I shared it on the page, and some of the people on the event page, and some of the people joined. And then once the Respect magazine, which is the national magazine here, once they published the article, that was 2 days before the event happened, and on a Thursday, and then by Sunday it went from 30 members to 240 members, just like that. Just like that.
Amazing, amazing. So you've now got this group. So if you're interested in knowing more about what's happening in Prague and the events and charity stuff and everything else that's going on that Siun's going to be sorting out, you need to go on Facebook and just search the groups for HumanKIND Prague. So HumanKIND, all one word, and the kind is actually capitalized, and then Prague. The other organisation that Siun was talking about is the Liberators International. So if you're not based in Prague, you might want to check out them as well. They are theliberators.com.au. So you can find both of them. But yeah, please do check out Siun's group. I'm definitely going to go now and see what's going on. And even though I'm not in Prague, I'd love to know what's going on, because it sounds like you've got some amazing ideas for the future. I mean, what does the future hold for you now? More events?
Yeah, more events, and yeah, before Christmas, a few of us are going to stand in the center, in the shopping center, or the shopping street, in the middle of the shopping street, like 5 of us in a circle, blindfolded, with signs saying, "I trust you, do you trust me, let's hug," with our hands
Oh,
outstretched.
wow.
And we'll have it written in Czech as well. That's actually what I saw that the Liberators did that also, and I thought, yes, I want to do that. Actually, it's funny because a few months, the first time I saw it was earlier in the summer, and I was like, no way, I would never have the courage to do that blindfolded with my arms out. And now I'm like, bring it on. That's great. I feel totally ready for something like that. So it's funny, like the more you push yourself, or the more you achieve, things that once seemed absolutely terrifying are now like, yeah, I can do that. Why not?
You just seem so much more open to possibilities, and to what the possibilities are within yourself as well.
Yes, that's what it feels like. That's what it feels like. It feels like all these the self beliefs that I had, self limiting beliefs that I had, are just like, I can even, what I've become much better at recognizing like self limiting beliefs and stuff. I'm like, yeah, when a thought comes up, I can question them now. I'm like, is that true? Is that really true?
Yeah.
And usually it's not true.
The little lizard brain pops up, the ego, and you're like, oh, I see you. I see you now.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's amazing how aware you become after practicing.
Yes, and we did do a lot of that. So yes, if you are, just to mention that, if you are interested in the program that Siun did with me, the 8-week program, you can find out more info on my website, which is emmabrooke.net. EMMABROOKE. And you can find out all the details there about different courses and programs. But it just, I mean, I really wanted to do this interview with you because, as I said to you off air, I'm just so thrilled at what you've achieved and the difference that you're making in people's lives. Like, all those people were touched because of you taking a risk on yourself. There wasn't a risk at all, but it felt like a step for you, and it felt like a leap to overcome and a challenge, and you stepped up, and you're just making amazing waves in happiness and positivity and connection. And I think it's come at really a pivotal time for humanity, really, when, as you said, technology is moving on and we're desperate for this human connection that we used to have that is just slipping away from us. So what you're doing is so valuable. So thank you so much for your work. Please keep it up. And I'm going to go over to the Facebook group and join and keep up with all the news as well.
Thank you so much, Emma. It's been a pleasure.
Oh, no, my pleasure. And I will speak to you soon. And thank you, everybody who's watching this as well. Please do check out Siun and myself, and get in touch with us and let us know what you're doing and what you thought of the interview. All right, well, thank you very much, Siun. I will speak to you soon.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.